Think about the last time it happened. You were home, the door was closed, and you were deep in conversation with your dog about whether the mailman is a personal enemy or just misunderstood. Then a friend walks in early, catches the whole thing, and your face goes hot in a way you have not felt since high school. You laugh it off. You change the subject and promise yourself you will be more careful next time. But here is what nobody ever told you. That tiny moment of embarrassment is hiding the most beautiful thing about who you are. Let me take you back, because this story has been buried under bad psychology for almost 100 years. For most of the last century, science treated people who talked to their pets like they were a little broken in some quiet, harmless way. The polite term for it was anthropomorphism, the habit of giving human qualities to creatures who are not human. Researchers lumped it in with superstition and astrology and dismissed it as the soft thinking of people who did not know any better. And for decades, every person who whispered good morning to a golden retriever carried a little shame they did not deserve. Then, a researcher at the University of Chicago named Nicholas Epley got curious instead of dismissive, and what he discovered turned the entire field upside down. His framework is called the three-factor theory of anthropomorphism, and stripped of the jargon, it says something that should make every dog owner sit up a little straighter. People who talk to their animals are not confused about what an animal is. They are running the deepest social program the human brain has, the same one that lets a mother feel her child is upset before the child has said a word, the same one that makes a good friend ask if you are okay before you have decided to admit you are not. What you have been doing with your dog all these years, in the privacy of your kitchen, is a daily workout for the most precious skill a person can carry, the ability to feel another being from the inside. The people in your life who roll their eyes at it, the ones who never coo at a puppy or never speak softly to an old dog, they are not above it. They are simply less practiced at the kind of love that doesn't come with a receipt. You have been getting better at attention itself, and you never even knew that is what you were training. But the most stunning part of this whole story is not what is happening in your head when you talk to your dog. It is what is happening inside them. There is a neuroscientist at Emory University named Gregory Burns, and he spent years on a question that haunted him. He wanted to know, in a way that no behavior test could ever answer, whether the love he felt from his rescue dog Callie was real, or whether he had been making the whole thing up to feel less alone. So he did something nobody had ever done. He trained dogs to lie completely still inside an MRI machine while fully awake, and he scanned their brains while they processed the people they lived with. The first time those results came back, Burns said in interviews, his hands actually shook a little. The part of the dog's brain that fires for the things they want most in the world, the same reward region that floods a human with anticipation, lit up brighter for the scent of their owner than for the scent of any other dog. Let that wash over you for a second. Their own kind came second. Their food came second. You came first. The being they live for, in the deepest neural sense of that word, is you. That is not something a dog has been trained to fake. That is preference, written in chemistry, in a place no command could ever reach. Your dog has been checking every single time you speak, whether your heart and your words are telling the same story. And they only let themselves relax when the answer comes back true. That answer opens the door to something far older than the spoken word. A Japanese research team led by Takafumi Kikusui published a paper in Science in 2015 that I still find almost impossible to believe the first time I read it. They measured oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the same hormone that surges through a new mother when she stares into her newborn's face for the first time. They measured it in dogs, and they measured it in the people who loved those dogs, while the two of them simply held eye contact across a quiet room. What they found should be carved into the wall of every veterinary clinic in the world. When a dog held your gaze, both of you released oxytocin in matching waves, and each wave triggered the next one. The exact same chemical loop that holds a mother and child together. The exact same neural music. They named it the gaze loop, and it changes everything you thought you knew about the animal at your feet. Take that in for as long as you need. The love that built you when you were small is the love your dog has been pouring back into you. in your own kitchen, every time you came home tired, and they came running. The team tried the same thing with wolves raised by humans from puppyhood. Same affection, same daily care, same conditions in every way that mattered. The loop did not form. Whatever your dog is doing with you is something they specifically evolved to do. Over at least 15,000 years of choosing humans as their people. Some researchers have pushed back on the sample size, and the science is still being refined, but every follow-up study has pointed in the same direction. Your dog is not loving you in some smaller, dog-sized version of love. Your dog is loving you with the same machinery your mother once used. And finally, all of that explains the strangest little thing you do, the one you would never confess to a stranger. A researcher at the University of York named Alex Benjamin had a hunch about that voice. She brought adult dogs into a room with 2 human speakers. One used the high, musical, sing-song voice we all secretly use with our dogs, full of words like walk and treat and good boy. The other used a flat, ordinary, grown-up voice about ordinary grown-up things. The dogs went straight to the dog voice speaker every single time, like steel to a magnet. And what came next broke me a little. Take away the high voice and leave only the dog words, and the dogs lost interest. Take away the dog words and leave only the high voice, and the dogs lost interest again. They needed both, the warmth and the meaning, the melody and the lyrics, which means that the ridiculous voice you have been embarrassed about your whole adult life is not ridiculous at all. It is the only register your nervous system has for speaking to a soul you love, but cannot ask if they are okay. A survey of American pet owners in 2024 found that around 84% of people use that voice every day without thinking about it. Their bodies simply know. But there is one more layer underneath all of this, the one that explains why words flow so easily with your dog and so painfully with the people you love most. This is the part of the science that asks the question nobody wants to ask out loud. Why is it sometimes so much easier to speak the truth to a dog than to another human standing 3 feet away? 3 psychologists named Zilcha Mano, Mikulincer, and Shaver took the framework John Bowlby built for understanding how children attach to their parents, and they tested it on people and their pets. What they found is that dogs function as complete attachment figures. They are a safe haven when you are falling apart. They are a secure base you launch yourself from when you want to take on the world. They tick every single box that a healthy parent ticks for a small child. A German team led by a researcher named Johanna Lass-Hennemann then ran a follow-up study on more than 600 adults in 2022. They found something that takes a moment to absorb. People who carry insecure attachment with other humans tend to form stronger emotional bonds with their pets. The clinical phrase was a compensatory attachment strategy. Translated into real life, it sounds like this. The people who reach hardest for their dogs are often the ones who did not always find a soft place to land in the humans around them. Maybe in childhood, maybe in a marriage that quietly emptied out, maybe in friendships that drifted away without anyone meaning to leave. And that is not a weakness. That is a nervous system doing the bravest repair work it knows how to do. It found a creature that does not flinch, does not get tired, does not turn away, and it built a small, sacred sanctuary there. And that, more than anything else, is why the loss of an animal can break a person in ways the world refuses to make room for. When a person dies, the world stops with you for a moment. People bring food, they send flowers, they give you time. When a dog dies, the world keeps moving. They say it was just a dog. They expect you back at your desk on Monday with your old face on, while you carry a grief that the room has already decided does not count. A grief researcher named Kenneth Doka gave this experience a name back in 1989. He called it disenfranchised grief. The loss is real, but the culture has refused to hand you the permission slip to mourn it out loud. Pet loss is the most common form of it in modern life. A study published in PLOS One in 2026 looked at hundreds of grieving pet owners. Around 7.5% of them met the full clinical criteria for prolonged grief disorder, the same number you see after the loss of a sibling or a close friend. 21% of people who had lost both a pet and a human said the pet loss was the most devastating bereavement of their entire lives. The grief was always proportional to the love, and the love was the realest thing in the room. If you are still carrying the loss of an animal who left this world years ago, the world was wrong to ask you to put it down quickly. The creature who waited at the door every single day for the sound of your footsteps was, in the quietest and truest way, one of the great loves of your life. If this video reached the part of you that you do not usually let people see, share what your dog has meant to you in the comments below. I would love to read every single story,